commentary live stream. Basically, on those live streams, we just talk. There used to be a lot of engagement. So, yeah, I decided to do that. I tried to do live stream before where I was literally continuing working on my artwork. You can check that one out and talk about UFC kind of, but then it just didn't work. It really didn't. So here I am. I said that I will do another live stream a little bit later, and here I am. So yeah, let's wait for the people and yeah, basically have a conversation. What's your opinion? If you've seen the event, I'll be honest. I've seen only main card. Hello, 1 second. What about now? Is sound good? Can you hear me? That's my husband in the chat, so tell me if the sound is okay. Okay, sound is okay. All right, so yeah, basically the live stream is about talking about the main card of the UFC 324. If you've seen it, what's your take? I think all of the fights of the main card were not the best you ever seen, except the main event, the main fight. Can I see this? There's okay, babe. I can see some sign. There's weird sign for, and then I can see some sign broken, and I don't know what it means. What can I see? Hello, guys. If there's anything wrong with this live stream, let me know, please. If there is, I don't know anything. Hello. Okay, another sign. What's that? Well, I'm gonna put my husband first of all as a moderator. I'll put him as a managing moderator. Okay, let's check it out. I'm doing well. How are you doing? I'm in Vietnam, Nha Trang, so a lot of UFC events are in my morning time, like early morning, and the main event started around. Um, yes, you're mod now, babe. My husband is in chat, by the way. Say hi to Aiden Chris. Okay, now it's back. Yeah, no, I manually did that, so seems like okay. But anyways, so I set an alarm specifically to wake up at 9 to be able at least to be able to watch the main card. So the first fight was Arnold Allen versus Jin Silva, and you know Jin Silva from he lost was a previous fight to Diego Lopez, and that's a featherweight weight class, and a lot of people were kind of putting Jin on the like off the radars, but he won. He lost for the first round. He turned around it. So apart from the main fight, I think that was okay. Quite interesting fight. I mean, I was watching it quite carefully. Other fights, not really impressed as the like when the both sides are doing their best. Not really. And then, well, the main one was the Gaethje Pimblet. I think a lot of people had Patty as the favorite, though on the stats were saying he wasn't like heavy favorite, but still he was the favorite. And well, we saw how it went. Yeah, we saw how we go, and well, let's talk about it. What's your opinion? Do you have sister? Yes, I do, and she has a temper. Yes, and then I woke up and then I ran in because Gaethje versus I wanted Gaethje to win. I was like, there's so much hype about around Patty, So I was thinking that I was thinking if Gaethje would go uh, brawling without the like accuracy, like that would be dangerous in his case. But that's the thing; he was actually quite smart. It's interesting in the first two rounds he could finish Patty easy. I don't know why he didn't do that. Was it for the show? Was it because Paramount wanted did he want to show that he's fully in control and dominant? There are many questions. The fact is that fight could end uh, by Gaethje in the beginning. It went on. He gave some chances to Paddy. Respect to Paddy for showing that he is that he can take punching. He can he has that energy to come back. There were moments where Justin was getting a little bit too relaxed, and Paddy took like showed that that could be dangerous doing that with him. Also, both were extremely tired in the end. That's true. So it's neither. Justin's first two rounds were perfect before the first eye poke. Then there was second one, and there was also over lower the belt, or like a how you call it, a blow shot or something. But it happened with both ways. The referee made a mistake. Like I don't know where they were standing, but that was a little bit unfair to Paddy for sure. However, I believe it wasn't intentional on the Gaethje side. It wasn't something. Even his eyes poke, at least the first one. I think his wrist was just locked poorly, but it was supposed to be a punch. Anyways, is your hair natural or no? It's not. It's not natural. Gotta. I don't know what's going on. Okay, now we're just drinking something. Said that Derek Lewis just quit. Oh yeah, yeah, Derek was like that last like the jab that kind of put him on chaos. Did you realize even the Cortez Acosta was like, just get up. What was that? And then he just like yeah. I understand he's in his age, and don't forget that man has the record of the knockout wins in the UFC. He has a lot of losses, but he has more wins and he has a lot of knockout wins. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. It seems like he was just not willing to really fight for the fighting sake. It was more about the financial gain, which I can completely understand. Well, feel free to share your opinions here. Good morning. What are you talking about? The last event on UFC 324. It was, by the way, it was first Paramount event. Did you see any changes? I like the promos and how they made like the drummer guy was playing, and it was quite cool. So the editing was quite entertaining. I think putting Gaethje as the just generally into that card was the right decision for the entertainment sake, because I think that's basically what he did. He just wanted to show that he's in control, but he's not gonna finish it too early. But also Patty had good moments after. He also showed that he's resilient. He could take the beating and even create some dangerous moments for Gage. And then at the end, both of them were tired. And there were like, yeah, a couple dirty moments, but I don't think either of those were intentional. I'm gonna pin this one, pin message, at least for now. So question is, what's your opinion on the latest UFC event, basically? We also have, what do we have in the week? There's gonna be, it's not the fight night, I think it's UFC 325, quite soon. And it's the main card is Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez rematch. That gotta be interesting. But you remember what happened on the first one. Again, I think Volk was underdog on that fight, but he proved one more time He got it. He's the featherweight champ. So that should be interesting fight. I will still put it on Walk because I love him. One of my favorite uh, current UFC fighters, but also I think he's, some fighters pass their prime way later for a reason of high fighting IQ, athleticity, skill set, um, all that kind of stuff. I think he's also still, he might not be as hungry as Diego Lopez. He's like young, he's hungry, but he's definitely had overseas experience. And yeah, as I said, one of the best fighting IQs, in my opinion, in the UFC. I think Ilya will be Justin. Well, speaking of Justin, as much as they did great today, and he actually was quite strategical in the beginning, at least. Like his form was legit, was not. It was quite good boxing from his side. A lot of good jabs, a lot of good overheads. However, if we compare him, even against Arman Sarukian, and of course Ilia Tapuria, I don't think he's winning these fights. At least with that strategy, with that accuracy, them even if creating dangerous moment, letting them to just get away with it, that wouldn't work. Neither was Arman Sarukian or Ilia Tapuria, in my opinion. Both of them showed that they can recover from the dangerous situations and then come back and just rather submit you or knock you out, knocking out, especially as Ilia Tapuria. So, well, what do you think gonna happen next? Gaethje is gonna have to rest. Uh, Arman have not fought, and he has to fight someone for sure. UFC cannot just keep him on the hold as the number one contender forever. Tapuria, we don't know exactly when he comes back. His situation seems to be better, and he might be back sooner than later. But yeah, there are a lot of question marks. Hold up, let me. I'm not going to talk about politics here. Okay, what's my favorite subject? My favorite subject is, well, basically, if you look at my channel, it's sports, combat sports, boxing, emphasized because I practice boxing myself, and I'm looking forward to do some fights in boxing this year, and try to broadcast that. Also, I'm into singing. I'm into creating art, painting, and you can also see that in the latest live streams. And well, a little bit of mindset and a little bit of connecting with people and conversations like that. It's the kickboxing nightclub owner karaoke part. I don't own that bar though. I just host karaoke's there. It should have been either Mozart or Murphy, not Lopez. The only question regarding the Mozart Evloev is he's fighting so rare, and how many times did he bailed on a fight or declined the fight or something? So he's yes, his record, he's unbeaten, but his activity is, he's one of the most inactive fighters in the UFC at this point. So you know that it's not encouraged by the promotion. Ilya will match him and maybe knock out. Are you talking about Gaethje? Well, with Gaethje, I think pretty much. Like, have you seen Ilya's even on the interview? I think it was against the Holloway, and then later Oliveira. I think he stated similar thing, but I think that was about the fight or before the fight of Max Holloway. He was like, I was watching his fights and his team, his brother as well. And he thinks, what an opportunity, because Max Holloway before never been knocked out in his MMA slash UFC career at all. And he's been in UFC since 20. I think he was one of the youngest. people signed in the history of the promotion. And imagine Tapuria looks at your fight and says, "Oh, what an opportunity! This is kind of a backstage mentality. Like this is what happens on the background." Unfortunately, not all the teams, not all the fights do it that way. Yeah, they kind of look okay. Well, with that person, you have to work on business, but that preciseness that Tapurias and their team are focusing on, like they were looking at the pattern of Holloway changing the stances. He would step back while changing the stance, and basically pressing at that point, and then finding the opening from the left side, and that was the left hook, technically the one that. So when you have fighters or teams that really are that precise at learning the game, it's not only them following a baked plan, it's actually them knowing exactly where to hit, what to do. That's kind of crazy. So unfortunately, as much as I love Justin Gagey, he's like a fighter's favorite fighter, and he's an amazing guy, and he's tough as nails, and he has some good. He has especially in the beginning, you can see some technique. You can see maybe not the craziest footwork, but his timing is good. His reaction is good. His defense is good, and then still something is there's still some opening. There's still some decisions that. So I think Tapuria is definitely winning against Gagey with the fight, and it's also obviously Gage is past his prime. He's tough. He's one of those tough fighters that always going to be able to kick ass of the other people in the division. But him getting on the top now, past Arman Sarukian and Elia Tapuria, it's a little bit of tough matter. After seeing this fight, I think Elia beats Arman, but it will be tough fight. Again, it's the preciseness of Ilya Tapuria's team, looking at the nuances and starting and training, adapting their game to that. That is crazy, and I think a lot of his success is because of that hyper preparation. With Arman Sarukian, I think he's naturally a very gifted athlete. He's very athletic. He's not a natural lightweight either. He struggles to cut weight a little bit, if we be honest about that. So he and Ilya are same height, so don't don't be fooled on that one, okay? But yeah, they're same height. However, uh, the Tarukin's flexibility, agility, and strength is crazy. Ilya definitely wins on the power, punching, and accuracy and preciseness. Like I think no one is matching him at this point in the few divisions, like starting from all the lighter divisions, like flyweight, bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight, and okay, welterweight is already you have some punches that are very precise and interesting. But yeah, Tapuria is definitely is a top puncher at this point, very smart on that, and has a wrestling background. Arman Sarukian is a super flexible. He's been escaping from the craze, so on the ground it might be very tricky. Even though Ilya has the wrestling background, he's a good wrestler, so it might be interesting to see how they wrestle each other. Arman shouldn't be underestimated on the ground, especially. So yeah, as much as it will be tough, I think that punching momentum, if Ilya really lands those first one, two, even if he doesn't knock him out, but everyone in the division, like Charles Oliveira, Holloway, everyone been saying that they never ever been punched as hard as Taporia, right? So it's not just someone who throws a punch, it's someone who, like, once it punches you, it starts breaking you apart a little bit. And a little bit like it happened with Gaethje and Pimblet. People say, why didn't he go for, like, takedown and then BJJ and just keep them on the ground? Well, because in the beginning, he lost this momentum where Gaethje took the initiative and he landed some of the tough, hard combos, and it just already made the Paddy disoriented. After that, it's very hard, especially with his technique with chin up, hands down, throwing some flick punches, it wouldn't work, you know. Okay, so what do we have here? Hi everyone, talking about some the UFC event that happened a few hours ago. Yeah, my husband's a moderator, and he says we're chill and ban people that go too far. Yeah, so let's keep the chat clean. The striking and technical striking defense are far more than Aman. Yeah, Aman grappling is elite, but Ilya also have a Greco-Roman background and BJJ. He's also BJJ black belt. It's interesting to see Ilya in the situation where he wrestles someone who is such a strong wrestler that it kind of goes in the wrestling and that he has to wrestle. It's very interesting because I don't think we ever seen Ilya really, especially apart from his earlier fights and especially out of the UFC. You're not gonna see much of him really wrestling unless using it defensively or just using it in certain for the momentum. His goal, and that was planned out. Taporia Brothers' game is planned out around that. They want to be greatest fighters. They want to be prominent fighters. They understand that it's about being multi-directional now and leaning on the striking. That is something that in the later years and in some divisions been suffering a little bit because wrestling is as the sport now even more dominating than BJJ. Before it was BJJ and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like races would destroy everyone, despite of their backgrounds. And now we have a wrestling that is also goes very well against BJJ, which is technically a defensive grappling, and at the best helps to not get submitted against the aggressive wrestling. So it will be interesting to see someone be like Ilya fighting. I believe our mom could do that, but I think the most interesting would be see Makhachev versus Ilya because Makhachev is also bigger. I'm not saying welterweight is a good idea for Ilya. Maybe catchweight or maybe one-time welterweight because I cannot see Ilya being holding on the welterweight and finding Michael Morales as a contender. I just cannot see it. That's just such a big size and weight disparity. It's not even funny. Okay, keep scrolling through the chat. Ilya ducking like crazy, he ain't coming back. Well, that's a little bit of casual talk. We shall see. I'm not going to argue on that one. He's going through much. Yeah, family matter the most. I mean, respect to Paddy on that one. As much as he calls Spanish sausage, like, and he doesn't really like. They have a real beef between each other. He said openly that as the man, he wishes him the best into being able to see his child, and so that matters, and most as soon as possible, because there is, you might dislike person for whatever reason, but you don't wish a loving father not being able to see their daughter. You know what I mean? So unfortunately, things happen. I hope. By the way, I don't know if you know or not. First court was won by Taporia due to lack of actual evidence for the claims that his ex-wife would make. So I think that says a lot. We shall see. I really hope. All I'm interested is for Ilya Taporia to get back on the track and fight for defending his belt. My husband says Ilya being smart by training different disciplines separately. Yeah, and I had one of my conversation, one of my followers on Instagram about that actually. That we think that still, for some reason, wrestling as a separate class or separate training in the MMA gyms is neglected. You always have boxing, kickboxing / Muay Thai, and you have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you have mixed general MMA classes. At least the gyms, I haven't been in all gyms, but the ones I've been, that's how it works. I don't think I ever seen like a real wrestling class for wrestlers. Maybe because it's harder to learn further down the line. Maybe because it's higher risks of the injury when you do that later. I don't know. But I think there is still. I'm not talking about countries where it's the culture like Georgia and Dagestan and like any Caucasus, like there are certain spots that it's just within the culture. But I'm talking about the specific gyms who are like, okay, how do we raise the athletes that can counter that style? We need against wrestling against wrestling. That's wrestling is unique in that way. The only counter style to wrestling is even more offensive, stronger wrestling that involves all the physicality, using the power, having that technique, having that agility and flexibility that is, you got to develop for it. But for some reason, it almost feels that a lot of, even at the elite level, they kind of neglect it and they hope to find a way around. At some point, it was this BJJ training. Now this athlete became like a brown or black belt, and at the BJJ, and they get like it was the Jack Della Maddalena. Everyone's like, he's training with the best coach, and he's becoming very good at BJJ. Well, it only helped him not to get submitted, essentially. That's it. Okay, my husband said, tragic that the Ilya has been taken down by Miami's 304. Great men very often only break because of women. That happens. That happens. Choose your partner wisely, guys. Really do. It can go vice versa too. Speaking of that fall down, I don't know what happens to Rose Namajunas, but since her husband became her coach, she's not herself. Yeah, she's past her prime, I understand, but she's not herself. So yeah, just be careful who you have by your side and make sure that they're really by your side and they want the best for you. Um, Okay, I think Gage's win was super popular with fans in general. Justin coming back and showing he's still a beast got a lot of people happy. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons I got happy. I was not. Uh, at some point, I had a little disliking to Patty when he said something about Georgia. That's actually where the beef started. That's why Tapuria went aggressive against him because he said so. Tapuria's mother is the refugee from a Asian war. Uh, and then there was 2008 war, and post-war was supported by Russia. And people died and being bombed, and it wasn't good. And Patty posted something that it's like Georgians are stupid. It's good that Russia bombed them or something. So obviously, our Georgians don't like wording like that. However, Pimblet seems to be a genuinely good person, at least in some things. He a lot of other stuff he said. So he's not really the worst person out there. And at this point, it wasn't personal to me. From the like, I was also curious if because if Gaethje lost, it wasn't be an end of the world. People would still love him, but for Paddy it would be okay. He actually proves that he's at that level. What Paddy proved is yes, he can take beating. He can, but he gotta change. He gotta have to make adjustments. Like his flamboyant style, just throwing hands, just smelling through, that works against someone who is not very technical. Once you have a technical, even as technical as just engaging was today, you see that was and obviously tough and pressing. All of a sudden, that wrecks you up, right? So I think Paddy really. I hope he comes back. But I was happy for Justin Gage to win for the same exact reason as Chris mentioned. Patan, I'm working on the background stuff, modding, and rather let her shine. Yeah, my husband doesn't want to be on the screen, but he's an extraordinary man himself. He used to be a proximity wingsuit flyer, base jumper. He would literally jump from the mountains and fly with a wingsuit suit. Got crashed, survived coma, a growing tumor in his stomach. That kind of coma and the crash saved his life from the cancer. Got operated, was super skinny when he woke up, had to learn everything from the scratch, including walking. And then, not very long after we met, when he moved to Georgia, And well, then we've been more than 3 years. We've been sharing our journey, and absolutely, both of us are healthy, thriving, and yeah, we're doing well. But he's an extraordinary man. I just want you to know that. At some point, hopefully, he shows up more. But at this point, I'm the face of what we're doing here. I'm from Georgia, actually. Speaking of, uh, I'm from Georgia, Tbilisi, same place as Merab, Georgia originally. Tapuria brothers are from Georgia as well. In UFC, we also have Gaethje and Rama Dolita. They're not at the top right now, but they were. I think they were before. They were in UFC. They were before those two. And yeah, if you know any other famous Georgians that come to your mind, write down in the comments. Sean O'Malley is not as good as everyone says either. Well, O'Malley has, if he really tries, he has a good timing. He has weird style that is hard to adapt to when it comes to striking, and he executes his reach well. He does it quite well. But again, it's he's one of the fighters once you apply a real pressure to it, and that's even with the song Yadong. He did it a little bit later. He just didn't do that enough. So someone like Amali, you need to put on the ground straight away and immobilize them. Is Arman next or not? Well, I hope so. As much as I understand that UFC tried to punish him for bailing on the fight. Okay, whatever, but he's number one contender. So he rather have to fight. Um, okay, he fought with Hooker. Then we have next fights in the lightweight. We're gonna have Holloway versus Oliveira. I'm talking about the top five, top 10 fights contenders. I mean, then Arman potentially would have to fight one of those at least. He already fought. He already won against Oliveira, so I don't think there's much. I think with Holloway that would make sense, just because Gaethje would need to rest. But also there's Taporia. It really depends when Taporia comes back because it might be Gaethje versus Taporia for finding out who is the absolute champion, and then maybe Arman fighting Taporia straight away because Taporia and Sarakian is gonna happen. It's just a matter of the time. They're gonna UFC gonna try to keep it as the last fight, like a final in that lightweight chronicles. Arman finishes Justin. I believe, if not finishing, I believe he would submit him. I believe he can do that. Yeah, Paddy striking is a bit wild. Well, he showed that with actual class. And Gage did quite a classic boxing, a lot of classical boxing. He would jab a lot. He would, which is a little bit weird. It's quite dangerous to do that in MMA because a lot of times he would lean on the side, and that was actually the perfect angle, perfect pattern for Paddy to throw not the head kick, but aiming more lower for the body, but catching him once he's down. I don't think he ever did that. He threw some kicks, head kicks, and body shots. Paddy was actually ahead. Some of the rounds he was ahead on the body shots and the leg shots, but you can see with the face who did the real damage. But there are a lot of things that Paddy did not use the things, and I understand he was disoriented, but he was disoriented with a very basic boxing elements and not very accurate. In the beginning, yes, it was good, and it would be very epic if Gaethje just continued, but he kind of showed that he can control the fight, and he gave us the fight. He actually gave us the 25 minutes, and then later on, both of them were too tired to really finish each other. Other than that, Paddy's style got exposed. The chin up, the just throwing hands that works against more of the people that are not that technical. Might sound mean, but like literally punching bag type of fighters. Gaethje is not a punching bag. He might not be the most defensive, even though this fight his defense was good, it was on point, and he has openings in his defense and he gets tired, which is natural after that kind of value. But he throws hands, and you don't underestimate Justin Gaethje punching you. I don't know, at least unless you're Jiri Prohaska, which is obvious. I believe he can raise his hands and it would be good for him, but yeah, he's a little bit different breed. And who we have, Justin, Michael Van Page, the only Bellator champion who's doing well in UFC. Well, his style, but he has like very interesting karate style, so his distance control is on point and reaction. He's way faster. Paddy showed that he's not that fast either. So, but he showed that he's tough. He can take punches. He can take it, and he can. When he had chances, there were a couple good moments. He can recover. So I would give that to him. We're in Vietnam. I'm going through the chat now. Told you, Gaethje all the way. Arman is another level. Well, both are, Arman and Tapouri are, I think they are the highest level at this point. I would still see Arman versus Holloway. I would like to see that and see how it would match him. Other than that, yeah, those two are the thing to make. Okay, Levan Saginashvili, Gennady Krikvinia. I actually know him personally. With Sergei Saginashvili, I also met when I used to work in the gym back in Tbilisi. Irakli, which Irakli? You also have Lashat Alakhadze, the champion, Olympic champion, weightlifter and record holder on Olympic power clean and power snatch. Also, we have Irakli Janashia. What's his name? Irakli. Yeah, because Janashia is a strongman. And also an wrestling fan and love it. Oh, that's great. Gaethje versus Tapouri is a joke, lol. Gaethje has already lost to Max and Oliveira, lol. Yes, but they still didn't make a match. We kind of know what's going to happen between Gaethje and Arman and Gaethje versus Tapouri, but it doesn't mean that that fight doesn't happen. Okay, do a poll. Well, I'll try to do a poll. Hold up. 1 second, let me see. No, that's not how I do it. Some settings changed. Let me see. No, I wanna copy link with share. I'm thinking to make a poll, but I think some setup in the YouTube changed. It's a funny joke, Nomad. Arman is losing his mind over the Nina drama. Her and some fatty, meaty food in the restaurants and putting that on the social media. I think lately Arman's been doing well with his social media promoting. Though he went on some podcasts and did some participate in some live streaming, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to promote himself as much as possible. So he's I always forget that word. He's not valid, but relevant. Finishing your drawing. Well, today I'm almost done with the face. That I'm looking at a little bit more shadowing, and the nose and the mouth has to be detailized as well. Other than that, it's going well. The painting will be done next few days. Yeah, if I do it consistently for next few days, I'll do that. You can check it out, guys. You can check some of the shorts I have or previous live stream if you want to see my artwork. Jen Silla. Yeah, I was happy for Jen Silla too. I was cheering for him, especially after that loss with Diego Lopez. I think it was from, if I remember correctly, it was a knockout, and there was it was a little bit shaming. You know, people. He's like a fighter. He lives through that. That's his life, and I tend to cheer for fighters like that who really that means everything for them. So I was happy to see him winning. Most importantly, he'd wait when he has a title shot. And here is the thing, reputation matters. And you build your reputation through the little actions. One of the first things is to be accountable and really be precise. That's why Tarakian, who misses the weight, and Jones, who was a legend, but later on the life started kind of sitting on his belt and kind of cherry picking fighters a little bit, despite him still being one of the best IQs. Or Mosar Evloev being undefeated but barely fighting and bailing on multiple times, bailing on the fights for whatever reason. I think it's sometimes injury, sometimes like those kind of things. It just people gonna ask question, right? And then you have guys like Wolk. I'm not gonna even bring up Tapuria. Tapuria might be a little bit too arrogant for some people, but at least whatever he did, he proved that he can do it. But you have guys like Volkanovski, and you have guys like GSP. You have just people who are having a good reputation in general. They don't have a beef with anyone. They're respectable, responsible. They have some wisdom. They're acting what they're preaching. And well, here we are. And we have Chama Pereira, who barely says anything, but everyone loves him. Art can be ordered also. Yes, that's one thing. I'm gonna show more of my artwork, but you can literally try to take an order in the next in the very very near future, like next week, and like generally it's gonna take some time. But we'll try to set up like a YouTube shop, maybe even a sort of website, a platform, something where you can look the artwork, where you can contact me regarding the artwork. What I'm looking forward is to do. I wanted to tie in mixed martial arts slash boxing, combat sports, with the painting art, the art that I'm creating. So it's going to be a lot of art that shows the dynamic of fighting. It might be some specific people. I have a couple ideas to offer it to a couple of people that I know they're in MMA or in combat sports, and they might like it, and that would be like a gift purchasing to them at this point at least. But then I would do like a general, more like a fighter entities, and you can create a very interesting fiction when you have it here, and all it takes is just the skill to do that. So it's going to be a lot of painting, but I'm not looking forward at this point to paint some bushes, nature, and that kind of stuff. That's not my thing. I'm a portraitist. I love drawing portraits. Also body, I like to create the body composition, and that's why I'm looking forward to do a lot of mixed martial art slash boxing and combat sport themed artwork. If you have a high physical strength, like a heavy lifting, powerlifting, does it help in MMA? In what sense it will help? Absolutely, it helps, but you got to do it correctly. Very good example of that athleticity was GSP. The guy wasn't gifted by that, by that meaning, maybe comparing to other fighters, but he was very smart, and very early in his life he started adapting smart physical strength oriented training. He will do a lot of gymnast elements. Start from the pull up, like pull up, body weight, compound exercises like dips, landmine, some sort of bars, so like power cleans, but obviously with the right technique and right weight. And oh, is someone becoming a member? Oh, Eliart. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Eliart became a member, and as much as I don't have much things for a member separately at this point, that's another thing I'm gonna work a little bit more. Adding some features for the members, so more and more people get encouraged to get the specialized memberships on the channel. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Ellie. Chris also mentioned you have a great art, so gotta look it up. Yeah, let me read out what Chris says. Potan, yes, we train very heavy, low reps for strength without hypertrophy, gaining muscle mass to be as strong as possible for the lowest weight classes. Basically, look it up. Even if you just look at an AI, it's very proved and confirmed and available information. There's sort of a blueprint for the weight training. Whatever you do, whether you do a compound free weight training or you do machinery, the idea is targeting different groups of the muscle and basically goes through the target entire body. Whether you do split set or full body training, doesn't matter. But also the repetitions and the resting periods in between the sets and the technique. Um, like for example, you would do push and then you go slower on the way down. You're not just jerking that way, right? So yeah, it's just I can make a video about that, which I'm looking forward to make more long form videos. That one things I've struggled a little bit with, but again, 2026 is going to be a lot of upgrades. Thank you. It doesn't matter. I just wanted to support you by this way. Appreciate it. That's very sweet, and that really supports my channel. So yeah, stay around. We actually have quite a good folks here. We have few people. A couple of them are from United States. A couple of them are from other places, but they're like almost like friends, you know. So we have a very friendly community here, and we try to all of us together are trying to keep it that way. Because I love your way and your art and your lifestyle. Thank you. That's very sweet. So, okay. Well, anyways, any opinions regarding what do we have? Yeah, we had like a 5 total. Jane Silva. Oh, what's that? Oh, I never saw that. What Redhead Diaries gift memberships? Oh, that's a gift memberships. Yeah, that's very sweet too. So I think it's works that we can share it with others. Adriana received a gift membership. Oh, that's cool. It's funny. I didn't even remember that feature. You have a nice day too, and stay around, please. It's good to have people like you, real people. So part of the doing the YouTube thing is making community. It's randomly. Okay. Yeah, as I said, I don't know exactly how it works. I created the logos and the memberships, but I don't even know exactly how it's getting purchased. But anyways, I think it's good. Got to figure out what my members would like to benefit from, so I can make it work. Let me check the time. I have around 10 more minutes before I gotta go. And funny enough, there is another live stream I'm gonna try to do that people who know me for quite some time, they know that I do karaoke nights at the Red Buffalo. So it's one of my side hustles here in Vietnam. And well, it's fun, you know. I sing there, and some other people sing. Sometimes it gets too loud, but a lot of people like it. So I'm gonna try to do that and see with an external mic if the sound's gonna be better, because I want to make it as good and as pleasant as possible. Ilya versus Arman, what's your take? I'll go for Ilya, not because I'm Georgian, just because I think I'm not saying Arman has zero chances. I'm not saying that, but people say that MMA math does not work because they put, oh, if someone wins against someone, this is how they calculate. Let's do a different MMA math. We have two fighters. Both of them have a Greco-Roman / BJJ / whatever wrestling background. Both of them have it. And one is clearly way better striker, not even way better, the best striker in the division and maybe in a few divisions around. Okay? So you have the equalizer, and you have, on Topuria's side, you have these damaging punch preciseness, IQ, and power. That's what I think gonna happen. I'm not saying that Arman has zero chances. As I said, he's very talented and gifted athlete. He's a good wrestler. He's strong. He's flexible, very flexible in the wrestling. So I think he has some good chances on the ground, but not in the stands. And because the wrestling factor here is the equalizer, I would go more 70% to Ilya, 30 to Arman. You will live stream karaoke tonight, right? I will try at least and see if it goes okay. Boxing is a kin. Oh, it does. A gentleman's sport. Gaethje looked tired though. He lost cardio after round one. He's still washed. I mean, he's not getting younger, and yeah, his cardio definitely. It would make. I think it started after second round. I think like first two rounds he looked good. I think he didn't look bad at all in the first two rounds. But yeah, he definitely got tired, and that moment that he tried like that was very Gaethje. That oh come on, let's fight. Oh, I'll let you go. Paddy showed that he can create dangerous moments even if he's under that danger. So I will give that to Paddy, and I hope that he learns from this fight and he realizes what it takes to hold against pressure like that. But that's the thing. Gaethje is not the top of the top right now. He maybe was when it was Holloway and Dustin Poirier, and that was him, and that was like fading off McGregor and Oliveira. Like when that was a lightweight, yes, he was one of the best. Now you have at least Arman Tsarukyan and Taporia that Paddy is not ready for. New Fight Pro, I'm actually looking forward to fight pro boxing this year. Hamzat versus Alex. Oh, interesting. Well, Hamzat has one of the arguably the most dominating wrestling in the entire UFC. But Pereira is if a Pereira goes full in with like if you take a little chance like it happened with Ankalaev before he even tried to go for a I'm not comparing Anka versus Hamzat with their wrestling necessarily, but he still has a better wrestling, way better wrestling than Pereira, and still if Pereira unleashes that demon, I think everyone gets knocked out. But however, Hamzat has a huge favor against Pereira, which is, and science-wise, they're not very different. If Hamzat stacks up the weight, yes, Pereira is going to be maybe not that easy to hold him down, but considering that he doesn't really have like groundwork almost at all, well, you definitely can write it into Hamzat's favor. Alex versus Cyril Gunn or Alex versus Hamzat or Alex versus Jones, that's your favorite, you want to watch. I would watch all of it, but I think it's a little bit unfair to put Alex versus Alex Hamzat just because of wrestling, as it might go ugly. But Alex still can knock out Hamzat. That's what I think. Cyril Gunn, I think against Cyril, he can do some stuff. Against Jones, even Jones is not getting younger, but Jones is one of the best fighting IQs even today, and he is bigger and like he has. So I don't know. I think everyone is under the danger of if Pereira lands that 1-2 shot precisely. I think all of them can get knocked out, but other than that, the groundwork. I think Cyril is also a striker predominantly, but like Alex is known for almost he learned how to do quite a good takedown defense. But other than that, I haven't seen Alex or knowing Alex doing any BJJ training or anything like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Armand is destroying Ilya, and Ilya will continue to run. I'm not gonna argue on that one. We shall all see. Chris says Alex versus Jones. I think people are gonna watch it just because both are stars and both are interesting. Even though that's not the best matchup I would want to see. I would want to see Gano versus Jones. That's what I would want to see. They also put culture on the age too. Scousers don't get knocked out. Turned out to be a real though. Yeah, fair enough. Husband reminds me to watch the time because I gotta go and host the karaoke night. Well, anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up now. You have a couple minutes to ask me anything. We were talking about the UFC event. Generally, I think it wasn't bad. I wish that other fights were as entertaining. Arnold Allen versus Jin Silva was okay. It wasn't bad. It was a good start of the card. But then we have Rose Namajunas and Natalie Silva. It wasn't a good fight at all. And then we have Cordes Acosta versus Derek Lewis, and Derek Lewis almost like gave up. That wasn't like it was even Acosta was like, what is going on? Amalia Yadong wasn't bad, but also wasn't spectacular. You know what I mean? So the last fight, the main fight, was the most entertaining. If we be honest about it, I haven't watched prelims though. I slept through that, so well, let me know. I know Umar Nurmagomedov won via submission, so good for him. But other than that, yeah, I haven't followed on the prelims at all. Or is Justin fighting Ilya or Arman before? This is confusing. We shall see. It really depends on a few factors. But it's the thing. We don't. UFC does it that way. You have other people in lightweight. Next one is Holloway versus Charles. That's definitely taking somewhere in between. So it's a little bit of people can shift their focus. And well, Gaethje is supposed to rest for some time, right? And in the meantime, Arman might fight someone else too. I don't know. Taporia has to come back as the and then start defending his title. So it's we definitely having Holloway and Charles for the lightweight, and then potentially we rather gonna have Gage versus Arman for the interim again, and then I believe Arman would become interim. That would be cool because you Arman versus Ilya as an interim versus absolute champion and seeing who is the best. That could be a cool thing. Uh, but it could be opposite. It could be Justin versus Taporia. Taporia becomes takes that interim, becomes an absolute champion again, and then he fights Arman as number one contender. Now Arman and Ilya is happening, but happening as the last possible fight. Yeah, Derek. Derek's balls got too hot. Well, that's the thing. He didn't look that way. Like he was like almost didn't even want to be there. Like yeah. Okay, April or May, Justin versus Sarah should happen. That's a possibility. I think that within the Paramount contract, I think they're going to encourage fighters to fight at least twice a year or something. I've heard something like that. So if that is true, that might be the timeline when the next Justice next fight happens, and potentially against Arman Turkia or against Ilya Taporia, depending how the cards lay out. Good day from Australia. Good day to you too, guys. Well, now I gotta go. I'm gonna wrap it up, but I'll try to live stream from the karaoke night and see how that goes. If you want to hear me singing and others singing, it's gonna be fun. I'm not saying it's gonna be perfect, especially sometimes people don't sing well, uh, but that's gonna be fun. So stay around. Interim shouldn't defend the belt. Ilya should vacate if he's not coming back. He's not injured. I understand how people feel about it. I actually wouldn't mind Ilya too, because what's the point? If Ilya, let's say he vacates belt, and he comes back, wins it back. Like, what's the difference between having it or not having it while you're not fighting? So I'm not necessarily against it or something. It's really a matter of UFC and how they make that agreement. If they like Tapuria enough, if they think that he has potential to be keeping their one of their stars, and well deserved so far, well deserved, they're gonna give him some time. However, I think Tapuria is intending to come back soon. I've seen him already training. He seems to he won the first court. I think he's able to see his daughter again, and I think they're settling down on certain things. So Tapuria might be back earlier than later. But that's the thing that we cannot decide that. People can say this is the one thing that people can say, and UFC not gonna give a crap about it. I think UFC considers about sometimes people really ask for certain fights or certain matchups. Yeah, sure, you gotta listen to some your fan base, but other than that, they're gonna kind of decide it themselves. Yeah, agree. Don't fight. Don't get to keep the belt. As I said, like to me, if I was on the Tapuria side, I wouldn't mind to back. It would be even more power move because, like, okay, I'll just let it be. I'll vacate it, come back, take it back. Like that would be cool thing to do. I think, but I don't know what's the UFC's opinion. What's Dana's opinion on that either? We don't really know that. So same nonsense with John and Tom. Yeah, that was like yeah. If UFC can do that, I hope they learn the lesson because people. I think that harmed the reputation of the UFC. So. Oh, hi Miguel. Well, let me do make you a moderator again because you've been the channel was out and now it's back. So I didn't notice that all my moderators were disappearing, but now you can moderate again. Good to see you though. Yeah, and I'm recovered at least from the plague. I think I'm fully recovered. Okay, I'm ending the stream. Thank you very much. You can see me in the next one. Ciao.